To believe in yourself is the personal part of it, but the more prudent part for entrepreneurs is to believe in what you do, to have a passion for what you do, to inundate yourself with all the information about whatever your area of interest or expertise is about. And because you cannot sell what you don't believe in,
right.
And you won't be prepared to withstand the vicissitudes of starting a business if you only believe in yourself but you don't believe in the thing that you're doing. You have to believe in it, or your staff won't believe in it, or your customers won't believe in it. You have to be fully convinced, and you have to have done your homework enough to know not only that what you have to offer is good, but that it is an answer to somebody's question in the area that you're trying to promote it.
Hi, this is Ford Sakes, the CMO of the Global Leaders Organization and the host of The GLO Show, your source for insights from business leaders and entrepreneurs around the globe. I recently had the opportunity to sit down with filmmaker, author, and entrepreneur t.d.jakes. t.d.jakes is the founder and bishop of the Powder's House in Dallas, Texas, a New York Times best-selling author and successful entrepreneur in various industries. In this interview, we'll discuss how to cultivate a culture of entrepreneurship, the importance of not just believing in yourself, but also what you do, and the idea of cross-pollination within your business. We'll also tackle a few ideas referenced in t.d.jakes' new book, SOAR, Build Your Vision from the Ground Up. There are so many great ideas in this interview, and I'm so excited to dive into it. This is one you won't want to miss. Well, Bishop Jakes, I'm Ford Sakes, the CMO for the Global Leaders Organization, and I'm so honored that you're a part of this event with Microsoft and GLO. And I've obviously, I know who you are. I'm a big fan. I know the world knows who you are, so you don't need an introduction or anything. So, I was asking people ahead of time, what would be some questions that you'd like to ask? And a couple questions came in. It was like, okay, believe in yourself and never give up sounds good to a lot of people until they've seen someone else do it. So what would you tell someone that might be hearing a message of encouragement, but they don't know how to apply it to their own lives?
I think you have to go further than believing in yourself. I think you have to believe in what you do. To believe in yourself is the personal part of it, but the more prudent part for entrepreneurs is to believe in what you do, to have a passion for what you do, to inundate yourself with all the information about whatever your area of interest or expertise is about. And because you cannot sell what you don't believe in,
right.
And you won't be prepared to withstand the vicissitudes of starting a business if you only believe in yourself but you don't believe in the thing that you're doing. You have to believe in it, or your staff won't believe in it, or your customers won't believe in it. You have to be fully convinced, and you have to have done your homework enough to know not only that what you have to offer is good, but that it is an answer to somebody's question in the area that you're trying to promote it.
All right, and so obviously you've been highly successful in everything you've done. You're best-selling author and the media company and entertainment, as well as helping the world. What would you say to someone that's starting a business and they believe, but the other people around them don't believe? What would you do? What would you say to that person, to how they could spread their vision for their company to other people?
I think you have to find the people who do rather than wrestle with the people who don't. I mean, I think that's very, very important that you insulate yourself from opposing voices with those people who get it. I think that's very, very important. You don't have to you're not running for office, so you're not trying to be elected. Everybody doesn't have to believe in your dream to make it come to pass. What really makes a dream so titillating is that there are people who said you couldn't do it. So they can be motivation.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
They can be motivation up under you. You thought I couldn't do it and I did it anyway.
Right.
But in your inner circle, you should encapsulate yourself with people who not only believe in your dream, but contribute to your dream, some aspect where you may have a deficiency. So it's one thing to have people who are cheerleaders around you, and it's another thing to have people around you who are idea creators. We don't need cheerleaders. We need idea creators. We need people who can create ideas that enhance what you started, because nobody gets there by themselves.
Right.
And so the whole notion of cross-pollination, that when we collaborate, we're better than we are apart, we're more fruitful. Nature teaches us that. That is also true about business.
Well, when did you first identify yourself as an entrepreneur?
You know, I gave some thought to that, and it's so funny. I can't remember when I wasn't.
Right.
When I was a little boy, my mother used to raise a garden, and I used to sell greens out of her garden in brown paper bags and sell them for $1 a bag and give people a receipt. And I was like 7 or 8 years old.
Wow, so you've really been doing it a long time.
All of my life. And I think part of that was the culture of my family.
Okay.
The necessity of the 1960s, and it was the only way to survive. So my father was like, he was a hustler. He worked 5 or 6 different types of jobs in order to put food on the table. So you kind of emulate your environment. And I think for entrepreneurship, it has to be modeled in front of you, not just something you read about in a book or took a course about or studied in school. It's really more of a culture than just a craft. It's a way of looking at life. And I've always been entrepreneurial, always been creative, always been a person who would get out there and talk for myself and fight for myself. And if you don't have that propensity, it may become difficult, particularly if you tend to be introverted and you don't really want to go that extra mile. Then you have to hire somebody who's an extrovert to get out there and help you do it.
So through all your successes, people will look up and say, well, he's way up here and I'm here. Tell me about an obstacle that you faced. I mean, obviously you faced lots of them over the time, over the different businesses. Think of an obstacle that you faced and how did you overcome it? Like, I'm looking for, our viewers or listeners are, they're looking for insights from you on, I mean, obviously you're very successful. How can they overcome some of the obstacles that they have in front of them?
First of all, I'm not way up there. The first thing about it, I'm just high enough to realize how high there is up there.
Just keep going.
Yeah. You get high enough to get your nose in the door that makes you feel really small. So success is always relative, and you cannot allow other people's success to make you feel unsuccessful, but it does humble you to realize that there's always more to do, and I'm glad for that. It keeps me alive and it keeps me going. When it comes down to running into obstacles, I have to pick which one. I was thinking, it's been a lot. Yeah, it's been a lot. We've been in trouble. We've been in financial trouble. I put up plays. We used to put up gospel plays. And the first few times I put up gospel plays, we spent so much money putting up the play and paying for the cast and renting out the venue and marketing, buying radio advertisement buys in different cities. And almost nobody came. Almost
humbling experience.
Very humbling experience. And I mean, we were really frustrated and failed several times, not one.
Right. So our listeners need to know that it's okay to fail.
Yeah. It's part of the process.
Right?
You learn from failure. It's education is going to be paid for, whether you go to school or you go to a school of hard knocks. Right. Education is expensive, but it is also productive. You learn what not to do and fail your way forward. You cannot give up on your dream because you ran into an obstacle and you ran into a setback.
Very good. Well, is there something that you don't feel you're very good at? Is there something that you wish, I wish I was better at this?
Oh, a lot of things. A lot of things. I think identifying what you're not good at is important. I'm not a very anal person. I'm a gregarious, outgoing person. So the person
I would have known that.
Yeah, we really, but you need somebody who's analytical, who's a bookworm type person who likes to crunch numbers and all of that. If you lock me up in a room with a computer long enough and wouldn't let me out, I'd probably find me dead,
Right.
Chasing down 50 cents that I couldn't balance as an accountant. I'm not that kind of person. There are a lot of things that I don't do well, but that is a strength. To know what you don't do well is a strength, because that's how you determine who you need on your team. So what you want to do is surround yourself with people who cover your deficiencies.
So hire your weaknesses, right?
Hire your weaknesses. Do not duplicate your successes. And a lot of times people duplicate their successes. They hire people who are good at what they're good at because they feel a sense of fraternity. You want to be surrounded by people who have areas of expertise, and you also want to be comfortable with debate. People who are so passionate about what they do that sometimes they're tunnel visioned about what they do, and you have to stand in the middle of that like a traffic cop and make sure that you've considered all sides of an issue and not just one person.
Well, that's really a great key for leadership, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is a tip on leadership that you would share with someone's got a business and they're growing it, and maybe they're very successful already, but now they want to take it to the next level. You lead a lot of people. How do you do that? Like, I know it's just you, but what's your mindset that allows you to lead so well?
I think
millions of people around the world.
I think you have to spend time with the people that you lead well enough to understand what makes them tick. And a lot of CEOs do not spend enough time to communicate with the person, understand where they're coming from, understand what motivates them. Different people are motivated by different things. It's not always a paycheck. Sometimes it's acknowledgement. Sometimes it's recognition. Sometimes it's just being appreciated. Understanding what is that key that unlocks your creativity, that makes you feel inspired to do what you do, that doesn't make you feel drained doing what you do. And it's different from person to person. So your team, and I'm a team builder for every dream for me, but the first thing I'm going to do is build a team around it, is to understand how to communicate with that person in a language that is most effective to them.
Right, so that's one of the keys, because I know, like me, being a type A personality, when I was building my businesses, I was always doing one way, and I'd have this turnover.
Right.
Les actually pulled me aside one day and said, look, you got to work on your leadership skills. Because you surround yourself with quality people, but then you also have to understand that person is motivated from this, another person is motivated from that.
That's absolutely right.
So what first compelled you to be an author? I mean, have you written like over 40 books?
Yeah, I've written over 40 books. I stumbled into it.
I got 3. I mean, I'm not going to get 40.
But I spent a lot of times on flights and in hotels by myself with nothing to do. So it started out as being kind of cathartic and a way of entertaining myself. I didn't know whether anybody would want to read it or not. But my first book became a bestseller.
Tell me the title of it.
Woman Thou Art Loose. It was a self-help book for women based on biblical principles. Okay. And I did this book and self-published the book and put all of my money into the book. Sold out in 2 weeks. And got another 5,000, sold out in another 2 weeks. Wow. And after a while, the publishers finally caught on that maybe I had something.
They're not always quick to the take there.
That book ended up selling about 7 million copies and been translated into 10 different languages.
That's so amazing.
So that makes you want to write some more. So I got into it and started writing. But for me, writing isn't my motivation isn't about money. It's about message.
Right. And I think it's important for a lot of businesses to understand that.
Yeah, you have my last book, SOAR.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about your book, SOAR. Build your vision from the ground up.
It's an entrepreneurship book, and so I've done self-help. I've done religious books for years. My publishers thought, business books don't sell well. We don't want you to do that. Entrepreneurship doesn't sell. I said, I have to write what I care about. And trust me, there's a great need in my constituency to understand entrepreneurship. Yes. And we did it, and we were on the New York Times list for about 13 weeks.
Yeah, and I highly recommend everybody, we'll put a link on the GLO website to where they can get the book, but if you don't already have it, you should. So what are some closing words you'd have for, our audience is made up in GLO of business leaders, executives, C-suite people, entrepreneurs, a lot of small businesses in retail and wholesale and manufacturing and real estate. We have investors. What are some parting words you say to just create that mindset? I mean, we've talked a little bit about that today, but just because you're kind of on an island when you're an entrepreneur, right? I mean, not everybody sees your dream.
Right.
So you have the dream, and you're trying to tell everybody else about the dream, but they don't see it.
First of all, the GLO, I'd say cross-pollinate is very important. Okay. Understand that busyness is not necessarily business.
That's a tweetable quote, everybody.
And you can be so inundated with busyness that you don't really do business as effectively as you need to. And so avoid becoming so busy. If you're doing something that somebody else could do, you should be doing it. Okay, that's the first thing. And when you're a control freak, like some of us are, type A type people, we're so afraid that somebody's not going to do it well, but they'll never learn how to do it if you don't turn it loose. You need to reserve yourself for your highest and best use. Get in the community with other business people and entrepreneurs, because when you do so, you sharpen your skills, you learn more about yourself, and you introduce your business to other people. We have been in the film business for years and years and years, and I've got maybe 12 employees, and we have produced a litany of films that have been amazing and done very well at the box office, but it's a very small company. We do it by partnerships with other companies, and you can't partner with people if you're so busy inside your business that you can't get out there and find your partner.
Well, I just want to tell you it's an honor. Thank you so much for joining GLO and Microsoft here in our community, and I'm looking forward to the next presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, because I thought T.D. Jakes' advice for entrepreneurs who battle adversity was very inspiring. I especially enjoyed how he views success as relative and how important it is to stay focused on your own goals for your business. If you enjoyed the content in this interview, I highly suggest you get yourself a copy of T.D. Jakes' new book, SOAR, Build Your Vision from the Ground Up, where he dives even further into these concepts. As always, I thank you for watching, and I look forward to sharing our next interview with you.